Vitalik, who is the co-creator of Ethereum, and David Schwartz, who is the co-creator of XRP, seem to be having a war of words on Twitter. So I'm going to go over what both of them said. This goes deeper than market cap, this goes deeper than pricing, this goes as deep as far as talking about regulation and governments. And if you've been watching this channel or the Ripple versus the SEC case, you know that Ethereum has a lot to do with regulation. And did what Vitalik just tweet out, let a cat out of the bag regarding its government protections. So let's take a look at what they just said. Well, it all started when a Twitter user was talking about that Canada just put in place for 9 of its 13 provinces. Now, this is regarding an amount of money that you can buy or invest in cryptocurrencies throughout the year. And so what they've done is put cryptocurrencies into 2 different segments, restricted and non-restricted. In the non-restricted area, meaning you can buy as much as you want, is Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash. Everything else, every other cryptocurrency is considered restricted in 9 of the 13 provinces in Canada. This user was responding and saying, Canada, what on earth are you doing? And I completely agree with that sentiment. What you can do with those unrestricted cryptocurrencies is buy or invest in as much money as you want throughout the year. Those restricted ones are capped at $30,000 per year. But as somebody on Twitter just said, well, why don't you just buy as much Bitcoin or Ethereum as you want, go to your nearest decentralized exchange and swap it for whatever cryptocurrency you want. Problem solved. But nonetheless, this tweet went out, and Vitalik, the co-creator of Ethereum, tweeted it out along with some comments about it. He said, glad to see Ethereum people pushing against regulations that privilege Ethereum over other legitimate cryptocurrencies. I've not dug into the details of what specifically is going on and to what extent it's a government thing versus a compliance decision of one business, but either way. To which the Twitter user responded, well, if they had restricted XRP, I wouldn't have said anything. And this is where the battle rages. Vitalik said, XRP already lost their right to protection when they tried to throw us under the bus as China controlled. And in this, he cited a tweet that he sent out in December of 2020 when there was a Wells letter that went out to Ripple. And a Wells letter is basically a letter letting you know that the SEC is about to sue you. He cited 2 responses from Ripple in Ripple's response to that Wells letter, in which Ripple was referring to Bitcoin and Ethereum as being China controlled, and how XRP and the XRP ledger was designed so that no country could be in control. And in Ripple's response, they talk about ceding control of the cryptocurrency world to China, and how Bitcoin and Ethereum can't control anything against that, and how the XRP ledger can. And the reason why Ripple was actually stating it was, as of that time, China was actually the #1 producer of both hash rate and mining capabilities and infrastructure for both Bitcoin and Ethereum. So it makes sense that Ripple's response would include an opinion that China is essentially in control of them, or at least could be in the near future. And as they always do, the XRP army tagged some of the Ripple employees, and including the co-creators of XRP, David Schwartz, Chris Larson, Brad Garlinghouse, and asked if they were going to respond. And they did. David Schwartz took to Twitter and responded, quote, the government should punish projects that disagree with our narrative, quote, seems to be pretty on brand for ETH. Seems like David's been following this Ripple case pretty closely. And he followed that up with, also, I do think it's perfectly fair to analogize miners in proof-of-work systems to stockholders and companies. Just as eBay stockholders earn from the residual friction between buyers and sellers that eBay does not remove, so do miners in ETH and Bitcoin. Just as eBay stockholders want to leave as much friction between buyers and sellers as they can because that's their revenue stream, so do miners in Ethereum and Bitcoin. That's part of why they have higher fees than the XRP ledger. And David's final tweet, do you think this debate should be settled by the government or by the market, Vitalik? This quotation wasn't pulled from some attempt by Ripple to get the government to regulate Ethereum. Now, was it? Gauntlet thrown down by David Schwartz. And John Deaton, who is seeking to intervene in the Ripple versus the SEC case, also responded, when you have first mover advantage combined with a regulatory advantage no other crypto asset other than Bitcoin has, you basically have a monopoly. And that's 100% right. And I go back to the tweet that Vitalik sent out. XRP lost its right to protection. First of all, do cryptocurrencies have rights to be protected, and by who are they actually being protected by? Did Vitalik just leave the cat out of the bag that their protection of Ethereum is actually coming from the SEC or other governmental regulatory agencies? And then, of course, XRP Army's favorite Twitter sleuth, digital asset investor, responded with this video.
Right, so you said that you guys are looking to incorporate and do this out of Switzerland, and you're purposely you live in Canada, right?
Yes.
And so you're purposely not doing it in Canada, and you're purposely not doing it in the U.S.
A large part of that is regulatory reasons.
Okay.
So with Switzerland, they have a very long and established tradition of, first of all, very friendly banking laws. Also a tradition of stability. So it's not like some tiny tax haven that's going to turn against us the moment that the U.S. government wants them to.
Yeah, Mike's asking, will there be a limit on the amount that a person could invest in Ethereum?
A person can buy from any number of different identities. We may limit the size, the unit size of a sale, just to make it easier to disguise. Let's say if you're a whale and you want some privacy, you can buy 50,000 units, and so nobody scares people with an enormous initial purchase. So if you are a whale, if you planning on investing several million US dollars worth, then you can do that for multiple identities. We will ask for a real-world identity in the form of email address, just so that we can make sure that everything works smoothly the whole way through the process. But we won't be requiring it. So we can create a pseudonymous email and identity and purchasing.
Yes, that was the co-creator of Ethereum, Vitalik Buterin, talking about leaving Canada and the United States to essentially evade regulatory authorities. And in the second part of that video, the other co-creator of Ethereum, Joe Lubin, talking about how to disguise their ICO purchases and how essentially all you need is a pseudonymous email so that it can't be tracked to you. That doesn't sound shady at all, does it? Now, why would the SEC or any other government give Ethereum its protection? Well, that is what is essentially being dug up during this Ripple versus the SEC case. Whether or not the United States Congress will actually do anything about it, well, that remains to be seen. But nonetheless, as of right now, David Schwartz's tweet to Vitalik has yet to be answered, and anybody that's been following this channel, that's been following the Ripple versus the SEC case, should have the same question. Why should a government or any regulatory authority essentially have the decision on what should be protected and what shouldn't be based on a group of regulations that don't even exist yet? So as it stands right now, Ethereum seems to have its protection from the United States SEC, as well as possibly several other governmental regulators. And as it stands right now, this law or proposed law up in Canada giving people unrestricted access to buy as much Ethereum or Bitcoin or Litecoin or Bitcoin Cash as they want and restricting everything else. I'm not sure exactly why you would do that considering the easy ways it is to get around it, but nonetheless, it could be perceived that there is yet another regulatory agency in another country giving preferential treatment to Ethereum, which is essentially what Vitalik Buterin tweeted about in the first place, pushing back against regulations that give Ethereum a free pass. I don't see Ethereum pushing back on the SEC's regulation that gave Ethereum a free pass, and literally nothing else. So as this case unfolds, be sure to watch this channel for more breaking news regarding what is happening with the Ripple versus the SEC case, as well as what is going on with the rest of the cryptocurrency market. I really appreciate you guys watching all the way to the end, for smashing that thumbs up button, and as always, I'll see you guys on the next video.